Awesome. We're so excited to have all of you in this room today. First, I want to ask a couple questions of our audience. How many of you have heard of AWS? Great.
Oh, wow.
Keep your hands up if you've heard of AWS Amazon Connect. And keep your hands up if you've heard of AWS Amazon Connect cases. Good. Everyone who lowered their hand is in the right session. And even if you kept your hand up, we still have a lot more to tell you. So I'm Sheila Bushman. I'm a principal product manager at AWS Amazon Connect. And I'm joined today by my friend and colleague, Sagar Kosnis, a senior solutions architect. Earlier this week, we launched and announced Amazon Connect cases in preview. And it makes it easy for your agents to track, collaborate on, and resolve customer issues quickly. So first, we're going to go over Amazon Connect, because I know some of you didn't know much about it. Then we'll talk about some of the common challenges to managing cases in the contact center. Then we will talk more about Amazon Connect cases, the product that launched in preview earlier this week, some of the core capabilities and benefits, and then I will turn it over to Sagar for a demo of how this product works in the real world, before bringing it back, sharing some customer stories, and telling you how you can get started today. Amazon Connect launched 5 years ago, and actually we all just celebrated the 5-year anniversary in Amazon Connect offices across the world. It was an awesome chance for all of us to meet coworkers whose voices we had just heard, but we had never met in person. And I know a lot of you have stories like this during the pandemic. There are so many things I could say about Amazon Connect, but I'm going to try to focus on the things that I hear most from our customers. Customers love that Amazon Connect is self-service. With just a few clicks, they can configure their users, their workflows, their channel support, and get a contact center up and running in just a couple days or a couple of weeks. This is huge. We've also added personal and automated experiences across the platform. And we introduce AI and ML capabilities with each interaction. The other thing that customers really like is that their data is their data. You have control of it, and you can do what you want with it. You can hook it up to visualization tools and get amazing metrics about how your contact center is doing. And best of all, you pay only for what you use. You don't have to be locked into any per seat or per agent contracts, and you can scale with the needs of your business, whether that's a seasonal trend or a time of really high growth. I find this statistic simply amazing. Amazon Connect has tens of thousands of AWS customers supporting more than 10 million contact center interactions a day. Wow. And when you look at all of the customers that are on this list, they're just representative of some of our customers, and you see that they're across so many different industries, from taxes to retail, from finance to insurance, to state and local governments. I want to share with you one story that I heard recently that made me so proud to work for Amazon Connect. In the pandemic, Rhode Island Department of IT needed to get a contact center up and running so that its constituents could file unemployment claims. In just 10 days, they got their contact center going with Amazon Connect, and on their first day of operations, 75,000 constituents were able to file for unemployment. This is just one of many customer stories, but this is what keeps me working for Amazon Connect. We launched 5 years ago, and since then, we've added over 200 major features. I love working for a company that's so innovative, and I don't see this innovation stopping anytime soon. We've added channels like tasks and chat on top of the voice channel, and we've enhanced the customer and agent experience. We now have a unified agent application where agents can take their contacts, see customer profiles, and personalize for their customers, and have agent assist and knowledge recommendations. We also have automations with caller authentication and conversational chatbots, as well as contact lens summarization. And we've also released workforce planning, scheduling, and forecasting so you can better plan the workforce needs for your contact center. In order to figure out which features to build next, we are always listening to our customers. So what we started to hear from our customers, and specifically from administrators, is some of the challenges they had with their existing solutions. Some customers were using homegrown solutions. They had built these solutions from scratch, maybe 5 or even 10 years ago, and they were struggling to add more features because they had a backlog of features that their developers could never get to. I'm sure that story sounds similar for some of us. We've also talked to customers who were using a third-party solution. They needed to integrate the contact center with the case management solution. They had to navigate 2 different vendors, 2 different applications for configuration, and their data was separated into 2 different places that they then had to piece together. This was challenging. We also shadowed our agents, and it was great to see the processes that they follow because then we saw how we could improve them. The agents were following manual processes like searching for cases, manually inputting information that had to be in the system somewhere. We saw a lot of opportunities for automation. We also saw situations where the agent was unable to help the customer because they didn't have the right information in front of them. I think we can all relate to that scenario where we've called in to customer service, we're already frustrated, and then we have to repeat information many times, we're transferred to many different places, and we end up even more frustrated. Overall, this led to a poor customer and agent experience, and this is what we wanted to improve. We also wanted to better understand the types of customers whose problems we were solving, and we learned that customers were across many different industries: travel, retail, telecom, and hospitality, and we needed to build a product that customers could customize for their use cases. There are also so many different types of issues, something like gathering information, paying a bill, or troubleshooting a product. And there's various levels of complexity. Some things are so simple, just one call to cancel a subscription or say that your product arrived damaged, and it can be solved by the agent then and there. Other issues are far more complex. Imagine that your customer is driving to work, gets into a car accident, and needs to file an insurance claim. This is a very stressful situation for the customer, and the best thing you can do as customer service is ensure that you are responsive, that you are tracking all of the tasks that need to be done to resolve the damaged claim, and you're proactively communicating with your customer. Things like coordinating the rental car or providing a damage assessment. The customer also has to make hard choices, like do they take the insurance money and go buy a new car? Do they go get their car fixed? Where do they go get their car fixed? We want to ensure that this customer in such a stressful situation who needs to go back to work gets their issue resolved as soon as possible. This is why I am so excited to introduce Amazon Connect Cases. It is a built-in case management capability into Amazon Connect. Like our other products, it's self-service, so with just a few clicks, you can configure and set up your case management solution within the contact center. You can automatically capture data through our IVR, interactive voice system, and chatbots so that agents have some information about the issue before even speaking to the customer. Agents have a full view of all the case history and activity in one place. So at a glance, when the customer calls in, they're able to give the correct update, and they're able to know which next steps to take. Agents can also take actions and track follow-ups with our native integration into Amazon Connect tasks. Tasks are routed and assigned to various agents and can be completed in parallel to drive a case to resolution more quickly. We also have pay-as-you-go pricing. Again, we listen to our customers, and customers really like this aspect, so we brought that into Amazon Connect Cases as well. Now, I know that you're probably all ready and excited to see the user experience, but first we're just going to walk through the contact flow so you see how a contact comes in before we turn it over to the agent. In this example, the customer will be helped by an automated system and never actually needs to speak to a customer service agent. you can think about the types of issues that could get this type of resolution and the other kinds of issues that might actually need a high-touch experience. So we'll go through this step by step. First, a customer calls in. Then the system retrieves some data. The system understands that this is customer Jane Doe, and they understand that based on the primary phone number. Once the system knows the customer, it's easy to find an open case. And there is one, case 123, about a defective laptop. So now the system has a really personalized greeting. Hello, Jane. Thank you for being a loyal customer. Are you calling about defective laptop? Now, if I were greeted this way, I would be stunned. The system was able to pull information, either from customer profiles or even from an external system, to know that this was a loyal customer, and was also able to read the title of the case, defective laptop. Now, I think this customer's in a hurry, and they just say, yes, what is the status? The system is able to give an update. A replacement was sent and should arrive in 2 business days. Again, notice that the system is reading information from the case, like a case summary, that they can then provide to the customer. The customer says thank you, and the last step is that a task is triggered that gives a case reference number to the customer. Now, hopefully the customer never really has to use this reference number, because they hopefully will never have to call back in, and if they do call back in, the system can retrieve the customer and the case all over again. But it's a good thing for the customer to have for their records, and it will become useful for more complex cases. So now we're moving into the agent experience. Imagine that the contact actually needs to go to an agent. The agent has everything they need in a unified agent application, where they can take the contact, they can see customer profile information, and they can see the cases related to this customer. At a glance, they notice that there's a case that's open with a certain title, created at a certain date and time. Now they go into this case, and I know there's a lot of information here, so we're going to walk through it step by step. The agent can see case details, like the summary, and other custom fields, like a VIN number, a policy number, which are relevant for a claim for windshield damage. In the bottom section, the agent sees a timeline view of any previous contacts, tasks, and comments on the case. They see that there are 2 ongoing tasks, rental assistance and a damage assessment, and that lets them know what step in the process the case is in. It also lets them give the right update to the customer and take any right follow-up actions. And if they notice that there's a task that needs to be done, but it's not in this list, they can create it directly from the case. And so you see that you fill in some basic information about the task, and you can route it to yourself or to any other agent or queue. This way, the follow-up items will be tracked to completion, and they will not fall through the cracks. Now, if you've ever used Amazon Connect as an administrator, this experience should look familiar. We brought in the case management capabilities into the same admin portal of Amazon Connect. So in one place, you can manage your contact center and your case management solution. Here, you could create a case template. A case template represents a certain type of issue, vehicle damage. And for a vehicle damage issue, you can add and order the types of fields of structured information that you want to collect and you want the agents to see about a particular issue. Things like policy number, VIN, owner's fault. This information can either be manually populated by the agent or pulled in with the automated system. And then I'm sure you're wondering, so where is all this data? Where does it all go? And how do I see the success of my contact center and case management solution? You can get real-time events when a case is created or updated, or when related items, comments, calls, chats, or tasks are added to the case. The most obvious thing you can do with this information is to create dashboards that show the performance of your contact center and case management. You can look at things like the number of open cases, the types of issues, and how these are changing week over week, with the goal to look at the root cause and reduce the issues to your contact center. You can also do other interesting things. You could trigger actions based on business rules. So in the example of car insurance, you may have asked the customer to submit photos of the vehicle accident, and the customer hasn't done this yet. You could send a reminder to the customer after 24 hours asking for the photos again. This will help drive the issue to resolution. You can also automate notifications to managers. We all know that managers may have some actions to take, but may not always be online in the same way that agents are. So, for example, an agent may need manager approval to issue a refund for a very high-value transaction. And the manager should get this notification so that the agent is unblocked to then help the end customer. Now, these case data APIs are public APIs, and actually everything we've built with Amazon Connect cases can be done and using the public APIs. So your in-house developers can do this work. But if you want some additional help from folks who are more familiar with Amazon Connect or Amazon Connect cases, we also have AWS professional services and partners, a great network of partners with cases and Connect experience. Now, I'm sure that you want to see this product come to life in the real world. I do. And I'm going to hand it over to Sagar, who's put together a great demo of how this works.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Sheila. It's great to see the amazing set of functionality enabled by Amazon Connect cases. So for this demo, we'll look at a contact center for any company insurance, which serves millions of customers in the US. And typically, a large number of their contact center queries are with regards to insurance claims. And if you've been in that industry, you know that insurance claims typically require multiple steps and often involve back and forth between the customer and the company before a resolution is met. Now, the last thing that any company wants at this point is to ask redundant, frustrating questions during such a long, drawn process. So now, any company insurance has started using Amazon Connect cases to solve for such long-running issues. So let's look at Amazon Connect cases and how it helps any company insurance when a customer reaches out multiple times with regards to their insurance claim. So we'll start off at the Amazon Connect Unified Agent application. If you've not seen this before, this is a single-screen, intuitive user interface that Amazon Connect provides to agents, and it makes it really easy for agents to manage chats, calls, and all of their tasks. So in this case, a customer called John Doe is reaching out to any company's support using the chat option provided on their website. The initial chat is going to be handled by our automated chatbot in Amazon Lex, and then the customer will ask to be connected to an agent. So let's wait for the customer to go to the website and click on the chat button. The chat is coming in. All right, so I want to pause here real quick and tell you that the agent chat is now connected, and you can see the agent can see a unified customer profile. So Amazon Connect customer profile gives you a comprehensive view of important customer information so that the customer can provide a more personalized customer service. Now let's look at the conversation itself. So the customer is reaching out to report windshield damage to their car, at which the agent tries to confirm if they're looking to file a claim. At this point, the agent proceeds to collect important information, such as which car and what policy information is required. Again, all of this can be automated using an automated chatbot. And then the customer has a question, right? The question is, hey, will my premium be affected as a part of this claim? Usually that happens. And the agent lets them know that if they're not at fault, their premium will not increase. The agent confirms if they still want to go ahead with the claim, and the customer responds yes. So at this point, the moment is ripe for the agent to go and use Amazon Connect Cases, the new functionality. So to do so, you can see on the screen that there's a new Cases tab available in the agent application. So the agent can easily go to the Cases tab, and when they click on the Cases tab, you can see there's a filter there for the current cases for the customer. So they can actually peruse through all of the existing cases. And if there's a windshield damage already, they can go to that case and add tasks and comments. In this case, there is no case for vehicle damage. So the agent goes and creates a new case using the Create Case button. Now, when they click on the Create Case button, they are brought to a new Case Creation tab and presented with a pre-configured list of case templates. So contact center administrators have already created these templates based on their common use cases. In this case, customer is calling about vehicle damage, so the agent clicks on vehicle damage as the template. The moment they click on it, all of the case fields that are part of the standard intake process are then presented to the agent to collect that information. The agent can also go through all of the fields and see if anything is not available as information with them. In this case, they reach out to get the summary of the incident directly on the same screen. And once they have all of the information, they can fill it out on the Case Template tab very quickly and click on the Save button. This really opens up a new case in the system, which all agents can see once the customer calls back. At this point, the agent confirms that a case is created and reaches back out to the customer. They also let them know that any company will reach back out in 5 business days once processing is complete. Now, once the customer conversation ends, as with all insurance claims, the agent will now have to file damage assessment as a task. Now, Amazon Connect has a feature called Tasks. So a lot of you use Amazon Connect already. Tasks makes it easy for agents to go in and create, assign, prioritize, and also track all of the manual tasks that they normally do in an automated fashion. So to create a task, if you're already familiar, they can click on the contact control panel. There's a button for Create Task there. Or they can go directly to the case that is open, and there's a new button called Create Task available for the agent. So in this case, they click on Create Task and create a damage assessment task, business as usual, and they assign it to the back office, create the task, and the task gets attached to the case directly on the same screen. Now, there may be other important information as a part of this conversation, right? So the customer may need to, or the agent may need to add information that is relevant to the case. So in this case, the agent adds a couple of comments saying that the customer was worried about premiums increasing or the timeline itself. And this really gives a comprehensive view to all of the agents when they refer back to this case in the future. If you see here, there's an activity feed tab. So far, we've created a task, we've added a couple of comments, as well as we can see the customer conversations listed here. All of those are easily available on the activity feed tab. This really helps any agent accessing this case again to see all of the history of the case easily. There's also a More Information tab. So initially, when we created the case, there was a more information, or there were additional fields that could not be displayed on the top. So all of the agents can come back and see additional information. And this can be pre-configured by your contact center administrators. So at this point, the agent has done everything that was required of this case, and they can go ahead and close the contact. So it was that easy to go in, accept a call, look at the customer information, create a case, add information, also add automated tasks directly to the case, all on one screen. This is really powerful for contact center agents. Now, this customer conversation is over, and Carlos can go home, which is the agent. But now let's look at another agent called Nikki. So a couple of days later, the customer realizes that they've planned a road trip with their partner, and they obviously cannot do that with a broken windshield. So they call back, or they reach back out to any company's support and say that they want rental assistance. So let's see how that conversation goes. I want you to notice a few things here. This is a completely new agent. They have no idea about the previous conversations. If you see the screen, there's a customer profile as well as cases tab open. Now, what will happen when the agent is connected is that the current case would be opened up automatically as a tab on the side so that the agent doesn't really have to do additional work to do so. So let's see how that conversation goes. An automated chatbot will handle the initial conversation and then pass it off to an agent.
Welcome to Any Company Insurance, the home of all your insurance needs. How can we help you?
Hi there. I'm calling about my insurance claim on my Toyota Camry. I have an extra request. Hope you can help me with that.
You have one case already open for your Toyota Camry windshield damage. Are you calling about this case?
Yes.
The case is in open status and has one pending task named damage assessment. Do you still have questions?
Yes.
Okay. Let me connect you to an agent for your query. Thank you for calling. Your call is very important to us and will be answered in the order it was received.
So before the agent picks up this call, you can see the customer profile has already popped up. We saw that in the previous interaction, so nothing new there. But on the right side, you can see next to the cases tab, there's a case already open. So when the customer called in, the automated chatbot using our flows was able to track and figure out which case the customer is calling about, and it pops it open for the agent to easily view. So let's see how the conversation goes.
Hi, John. My name is Nikki. How may I help you today?
Hi, Nikki. I'm looking to get a rental car while I wait for my car to be fixed. Ideally, if I could get that within 2 hours, that'd be great.
Sure, I'll be happy to assist you with that. Let me take a look at your file. I can see that a claim is already open with us and can add a request for rental assistance. Let me get to that right now.
That'd be great. Thank you.
So the agent is going through all of the case activity.
Okay, rental assistance needed. And I'll assign it to the back office. Somebody from the rental department will assign a rental car and reach out to you within 2 hours.
Awesome.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's it. I'm good. Thank you so much, Nikki.
Awesome. Thanks for calling Any Company Insurance. Feel free to reach out for any other questions. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
All right, so a lot of great Amazon Connect functionality was at play there. First, we used an automated chatbot to help the customer surface an open case as well as an open task. So a lot of the customers would just call in, get that status, and then end their conversation. So they won't even reach to the agent. So that really helps. However, in this case, the agent or the customer wanted to reach to an agent and request rental assistance. They were able to seamlessly do that. And once the agent saw the case, they could easily, within a couple of clicks, see an open case, as well as add a rental assistance task directly onto the case, without really going through multiple systems. So having all of this in a single screen is really powerful for contact center agents and can really help your contact center agents be more productive. So that was the power of Amazon Connect cases. And back to you, Sheila.
Thanks for that great demo, Sagar. I think that it's always so great to see the product, and hopefully it's allowed you to better understand the capabilities and think about how you can use this product for your use cases. So I want to share a couple anecdotes from customers who gained early access into Amazon Connect cases in our private beta program. The Litigation Practice Group is an organization that provides legal advice on debt, bankruptcy, and litigation. As we probably know, in the legal world, you have legal matters that have multiple different tasks, documents, things that you need to track for record keeping. And this product, Amazon Connect Cases, allowed them to do just that, to track the multiple tasks, see the performance, keep a record of all of the things that are needed to manage a client's case. And we actually have the Litigation Practice Group with us here today. and they have a session just after this to talk about Amazon Connect cases and exactly how they scaled and used this product. Traeger Grills is a company that provides smart pellet grills, and they have a high focus on customer service. What they liked most about the product was that agents now have all of the information in a single pane of glass in the unified agent application. The agents can take those contacts, see the customer profile, and see the issue details. Before, their agents were spending a lot of time doing these manual tasks, and they knew that they could automate. Traeger also likes the automation that's built into the contact flows, where they can find cases and create cases, which again saves agent effort. And we've spoken directly to their agents, who are much happier when they don't have to take these manual actions. Now, we've really focused on how Amazon Connect and Amazon Connect cases are self-service, that you can build for your contact center and your case management needs with a couple clicks of a button. But we also want to remind you that you are not alone. We have a great network of partners that is available to help. Things like sharing best practices, doing light touch, or even full implementations. And some of these partners are here today, and we hope you can connect with them. These are also just a subset of the many partners that we have. Now, I know that we are on the last day of CCW, and many of you have plans to go home wherever that may be. But we hope that you can still squeeze in a visit to the AWS booth just outside those doors before you leave. We have SAs who are fully staffed and ready to go into details about any of the products at Amazon Connect. And it's just a great opportunity to have that personalized support. We also have another session that can show you how to accelerate the Amazon Connect cases solution for your contact center with the litigation practice group and one of our other product managers, Edgar. Again, you just have to stay in this room, and it will help you better understand how you can onboard onto the product. Now, I just want to emphasize that we are self-service onboarding in a preview product. We do not have to give you any kind of permission, and right after this session, you can open your computers, get into Amazon Connect, and enable cases. You can start trialing and playing around with the product right away. We are available in US West region with English support, and we are coming soon to US East regions. Now, here are some resources on how you can get started, and I hope you can all just write them down or take a picture. Now, while you're doing that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for choosing to come to this session and sticking with us to learn about Amazon Connect cases. I hope you had a great CCW and can stay through some of the other sessions. Thanks.